Imagine 14 sacrifices himself for Donna and the rest of the human race, merges with 15 to trigger the regeneration into 16. That's how you wrap up by generation, I suppose. Anyway, Doctor Whom, after that tangent that's just been fucking absolutely ruled out. What do you think of Doctor Who this week, Connor?
Well.
Haha!
Let's talk
So
about it.
clever. I believe in Russell T Davies. Dun, dun.
I believe in midnight, yeah.
Oh no! Did you like? Did you like?
Did I like?
Did
No,
you
I
see?
like the
Did
Will.
you see the leaks before?
No. Yeah, I mean, your chat's the closest thing to leaks. I was just completely oblivious to all of it.
Yes.
Doctor Who, I don't divulge and nerd about every 2 seconds. I just go into it and just go, okay, that happened.
It's all I fucking nerd about.
I just happened. You know, Doctor Who just happened.
Best King Lear this cat's ever seen.
But yeah, it was a different experience. It reminded me a bit of 73 Yards, but not in that horror vibe. But it was still
I don't know.
quite.
This was terrifying.
moody
This
and
was like a
suspenseful.
terrifying episode.
It was definitely suspenseful. But it all came down to performance more than anything.
Mm-hmm.
A la Boom. Except that was less suspenseful and less terrifying, although the Doctor was on a fucking mine. So it was terrifying in that way. But it wasn't like actually spooky and scary.
Yeah.
Whereas this was more haunting and just uncomfortable and unnerving. No, I did enjoy it though. I did very, I did like this episode.
Yes. Partly written by Rusty Davis, and oh god, I keep fucking not
Pete
knowing.
McTeague,
No, not knowing the woman's.
the woman who fell to earth.
Doctor Who. Fucking hell. Doctor Who. Fuck, why? Why are you showing me articles about midnight? It's not even connected.
No, it's actually referring to an episode called Daylight.
Sharma Angel Warfall. Co-written. I'm assuming because have you watched Unleashed?
I've not.
It was like an episode that didn't originally have the connection that it has, and so I theorise that Russell's rewrites were the connections to it, and as well as some other stuff. Because maybe it was an original script idea from Sharma, and then he's all like seen the similarities, changed some things up, and added some of the continuity.
He went to like the bucket list of his mind. And he thought, I'd always like to go back to this idea that I could never do.
Brilliant.
Yeah.
I think it's a bit how like Fugitive the Jejune was written by Vinay Patel, and
then
I think the Chibnall stuff in
constantly
that
inserted
was,
was
I think that was that solely Vinay Patel, or was it I feel like that was a
it
co-write,
co-written.
and then
I
it was
feel
like
it was co-written.
Chibnall did the Jack stuff and the continuity things, and the sort of had a quick
repercussions stuff. Repercussional.
But so Russell was like, I've written this one partly as well, but this was the connection that was leaked beforehand, which I was sort of like, I'd heard various rumblings. I'd not sort of fully gone looking for it, but I'd seen things on it. Spoilers, by the way, if you've not seen Doctor Who the Well. Midnight was, for me, it's one of my favourite episodes of the show in general. I think it's a standout of RTD1. It makes use of the then companion light episodes. We had the odd one of them. And I love it because it's like a play. It's if Doctor Who was on stage. Like it's this one set of characters.
Imagine if this was done by Big Finish. Imagine this is the stuff of legend that we
Big
got to see.
Finish. We love your money.
Something a quarter to this.
Well, I mean, they saw your Big Finish audition, didn't they? When you were reading out PS. So we've still not had the call yet, Nicholas Briggs. I've sent you our phone number again, just so you can, because this man clearly is in line to replace you as the next Big Finish leader. He is the Paul Levesque of audio drama. No. Welcome to Big Finish Mania.
Big Finish Mania.
And it's Chimes of Midnight versus Jubilee.
And the special guest referee is Robert Sherman himself.
Yes. And he's just there like, this is just pointless. Why are we doing this?
Why are we doing this?
The, 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 it doesn't do it. I mean, it doesn't do nothing for me, but it also doesn't. The episode doesn't live or die off of that. I think it's a
Yeah.
nice connection. I mean, you could easily have not put it in because the
No,
creature acts
I felt
completely
like it.
different to how it did then.
It did.
Which is the thing of like that it's evolved. There's a theory that this is the third part of the middle part of a trilogy that we've already seen the end of.
Oh.
I don't know if you've seen that. We'll get into that in a little minute.
Not done. No.
But I liked it. I think Shooty was great. I fucking love Miranda. I think like Belinda and the Doctor. I'm loving. I do think like, I would have liked it to be flipped so that she would have been in this life-threatening situation before she last week. I wholeheartedly trust you, and then thrown into this thing, like this situation.
Yeah.
It would have been nice for her to go through all of this, still be quite tense and offish with him, and then have to go through saving his life in Lux to then be like,
Maybe you're not so bad.
yeah, maybe
after
not
all.
so. Maybe he was the Doctor all along. Even though I think it's Nissa that says that. People are going to hate me on the internet. I really enjoyed this. I mean, I did ironically say that maybe you were right in terms of like episode
Me?
3 is where it's at. Like we've had Boom, we've had this.
This is the stealth formula that's definitely not predictable, Russell.
I mean, I do hope that, I'm worried about episode 4. I'm hoping the trajectory can continue because so far...
What's there to be worried about episode
If you
4?
had to do just like... Sorry, it's just because it's back to Ruby and it's a Doctor-like episode.
Yeah,
and it's
we're not
another
moving
episode
forward,
that
aren't
shit.
we? We're going back.
I mean, we get
Quite
to see if
literally.
Ruby is the issue with this era. Even though, like, I like Millie Gibson, I like what she's done. I'm really gelling with Belinda as a character more than I have Ruby.
Yeah.
Would you
It's
would
not
you
a,
say
it's not
if
a
you
Rose and Donna situation?
if you had to just head it, would you say that every episode of season 2 has been better than its corresponding episode for season 1?
Oh, so you mean like Space Babies and
Robot Revolution.
Revolution? Yes.
Okay.
Devil's Cord and
Lux,
Lux.
which is ironic because it's two Pantheon ones.
That's a tie. Don't
That's a
quite
tie.
think on the spot. Don't know.
Oh yeah, because I love Devil's Cord, but I think
Yeah.
maybe Lux was just a bit like that again,
Tighter.
but sort of finer,
Yeah.
polished and like
Maybe.
bits like that.
I have to TBA on that one.
TBA.
TBC.
Third episode here.
TVA, and then but you got Boom against the Well this week, which I feel like will be the two sort of showcasey episodes of like Boom being the showcase of season 1. This, depending on how the trajectory and the formula will go, and again if it's exactly copy and paste, because again these were filmed in like a 4-month block of each other, so maybe they did in terms of laying the episodes out, play it safe. Because they had
Maybe.
enough confidence in the way of this will be executed right, so we'll just do the same again. But, yeah, not saying that is how scriptwriters and episode runners do that.
No, but like just in terms of general Doctor Who, you have one like in the present day, or as the old ones would go. What are the old ones like? RTD1. You'd have a modern day. Then you'd have
Sci-fi.
one episode, like the second and third episode are interchangeable, but one of them you would go to the far future, one of them you go to the past.
Yeah.
Which we've also done, and we've done it in terms of like you've got 2 episodes set in the past with a Pantheon and old technology, and then trying to defeat a member of the Pantheon in this time period, and then a far future one that's about war and it's a bit scary and it's more of a character development piece. I thought the supporting cast was great.
That's what I say. I think they were again the highlight, as well as
Supporting
Doctor
characters in Doctor Who that were good and
Definitely.
died. We've not had a lot of death in it's very
and
rare.
murder.
Murder. Dun, dun, dun.
Yeah, I'll do it again.
But I liked all of them. I liked Captain what's her face. We've got me and Andy have got a great nickname for her, so fucking stay tuned for that.
Because what?
Shea, is it?
Shea Costallion.
Yes.
Costallion.
Yeah, Shea was great. I like Rose Ailing Ellis was fantastic. Have you
Yes.
seen the theory that she was dead the whole time and the creature was using her as a puppet?
I mean, I like that theory.
But then does that hold up because the escape pod at the end shows 4 life forms in it, even though there's only 3
3.
people? So if she was dead, surely it would only show 1. Like, as in, no, it would only show 3 instead of 4.
Yeah, very good point.
But then did Shea throw herself off down the well for nothing, or did the characters split?
Into who? Well, who else
Into
would she
2?
split?
Because
into?
obviously, like Shea thought it was on her because she'd shot Belinda.
Yes. Yeah.
So that's why she goes and then throws herself down and kills it. Or like stops it
Sacrifices herself.
sacrifices herself so they can get away. But then the life form is it's also clearly in with
Yeah,
Alice.
in the shuttle at the end. Yeah.
So I've seen the theory that I've seen is that this is part of a trilogy, and we've already seen part 3. So it goes Midnight,
What Doctor? Yeah.
The Well.
And another Tennant episode, or is it completely different?
Well, it's technically a 10 episode, yes.
What 14th? What Wild Blue Yonder?
Yes, because
Right.
because there's the stuff, because what was Midnight, Wild Blue Yonder kind of referred to. It was like Midnight, but again, wasn't it?
Aha, it was yes.
And
Yes.
Midnight, it's the character like developing speech patterns and taking someone's life
was,
and
wasn't
voice. And then it's that
Wild
being
Blue Yonder
copied.
had that bit further where it literally took form as well. It took
So maybe because it knew the Doctor's name,
yeah.
and I don't know if there's a thing that maybe it like could see his memories or something. So maybe it sort of learnt about by generation.
Yeah, maybe.
And then split itself into like one on Shea, one on Alice. Maybe it learned to sort of develop, and instead of just mimicking and taking the voice and taking over the host, then developing the bodies, and that's what Don nearly does to successfully get away.
Huh.
So maybe I've seen a few people talk about that, but the main one I saw was of Who Knew podcast fame Josh Carr talking about that, and there was a YouTube video that he was a guest on that he sort of delved more into that theory. Which I like the idea.
That is solid theory. That is really good, solid theorising.
Because it's it can
I
adapt
like it.
into that and become that, and
Ah.
it's then capable of doing 2 life forms at once and actually taking on a physical form instead of just possessing them.
Can't that just if it
Adapted
goes
and
if
evolved.
this was anything, if this was to actually go further, this could sound like a season long arc type deal.
Could do, yeah.
Post Pantheon, once we know who's at the end of the line of this season, presumably.
The boss.
And
Are we
then-
finally going to see the boss that was mentioned in the Star Beast?
Exactly.
Is it Joe Hendry?
For fuck's sake. Is it Joe Hendry? The most non-threatening Time Lord creature in all of Doctor Who. Joe Hendry. If you believe in him.
Say his name and he appears. I believe in Shooty Gatwa. Dun, dun. Believe in season 3, please Disney. Dun, dun. But yeah, I like that idea.
Man, streaming in London and Paris and Tokyo.
It's on Disney Plus everywhere you go.
And BBC iPlayer. BBC old iPlayer.
So, what do you think about that theory? And that
You kind of shocked me. I mean,
Yes, I shocked you.
I don't know if I sound very dramatic or very engaged with it, but I do. I'm thinking about it. The more time and seconds pass by, and I do want it to be more of a thing. I want it to be like a season-long arc. I want this idea revisited. I would like a threat where the Doctor isn't like it's a physical, corporeal form. It
Yes.
could be something that learns and adapts and becomes like the thing that you very much swore to destroy. Yeah.
Do you think the first of all, what was your reaction? Did you learn about the Midnight Connection in episode?
Yeah, I learned it in episode. Yeah.
So you learned it as the Doctor learned it, and
Pretty
I like
much.
that it was just an excuse to have David Tennant on British TV
cameo.
in 2025.
No new footage though. It was just ta-da. Yeah.
Sad face, sad midnight face.
Sad midnight face.
Yeah, I've seen some people say, "Oh, it takes away from it." I mean, it can do, depending on how you're sort of
Attached
whole
to
with
it.
that.
Hmm.
Because I've seen a lot of people say, "Oh, there was too much of the creature and things like that." It's like, yeah, it reminded me a bit of Time of Angels, Flesh and Stone. Like you're bringing back this villain that was very threatening and scary, but then you're showing new things and like new stuff it can do, and it's adapted and it's evolved and it's different, and you're actually writing it in a different era with a different Doctor. Yet there are some amazing elements to it, and there's some bits here like you could have just held back on some things and then not been like that, because like we say, it acts completely differently. I know it's said it's evolved, but it could have been anything.
Yeah, it really could have. It really could have been.
But the episode doesn't live or die on it for me. I think it's still just as good. I think it's still like a solid, really well done episode.
It's
It's in my top
7.
5.
It's at least a
of
7.
the shooty episodes. I think it's more than 7.
Ooh.
I think you put this up there with so far for me, like Boom, Rogue, this, Lux, and
What's number 5? Devil's Court.
Devil's Court.
Yeah.
Yeah, at the moment, because I like. I mean, I liked. Andy's good point. I mean, it's coming, but like, it's the fact that it's just the first and last episodes of season 1 that weren't great, and everything else in between is actually really good. Yeah. So yeah.
Huh.
I hope that because I did see someone say that so what we needed for a 10 out of 10 RTD2 script was a sequel to a 10 out of 10 RTD1 script.
Yeah, I mean, without cheesing it, it sounds like that was the case. The winning formula.
But when he's on the game, he is like, because he's ripping off himself, which he kind of still is doing here. But like when he puts his mind to it, there's still stuff in there. I know that, like, you know, it's hard for anyone who's written as much Doctor Who as, you know, him and Stephen have to then come up with new things.
New things on the... Yeah.
Or like when he walked away, he said like he still for years would have the odd episode idea about Doctor Who, but then to come back and it's like, yeah, you've got to... I like that he's writing less, like he's part written this, we don't know to what extent, but if we do get a third season, I'd like him to do episode 1 and episode 7 and 8, and that's it. And then have the other 5 episodes be new or returning people. Like, I know we got Pete McTeague next week, which is going to be fun. But yeah, there was some great stuff in here, and it was wholeheartedly scary Doctor Who. Like, it was, you know, there was a group of characters that were untrustworthy with the Doctor. A lot of them died. I think all of them were very well acted because you felt some kind of emotion for the characters, whether it be sympathy, whether it be hatred for the guy that clearly wanted to commit mutiny. I like the way that Shay uses Alice to get her to turn round so that then she kills that guy. I think, you know, was Alice being manipulated by the creature. I mean, I like that the fact of her being deaf is the reason that she survived, because she can't hear it, which is very well done. The Doctor knowing sign language, fantastic touch, and like even when it happens and we don't know what they're saying,
what was going on.
Like there's people that don't know British Sign Language, which is criminal.
Yes.
If sign language was taught in every school, then every single person would be able to communicate
so much better.
I like that. That's just almost like a little conversation that they have, like just for them. Like that's a character moment for them. It's not just for us.
Yeah.
And
it's not a message.
It's not like, and then have the subtitles on the screen thing, which is then good because then we know that she's actually
processing what's being said.
Yeah, and knows what they're saying, and the fact that they use that against her in terms of when the Doctor turns his back, so that they can then have that conversation without her knowing what they're saying.
Yeah,
which is dark as well.
Shades of Seven.
Yeah. Yeah, and like he cried a bit, and that'll annoy some people, but
me included. No, don't annoy me.
I'm fine with it. I'm fine.
He just cries a bit. It's just when someone pointed out, he does cry an awful lot.
He does, but he's a man in touch with his emotions.
He's a young man. He's done therapy in the wrong order.
Yeah, we keep saying that, and hopefully that gets paid off. Mrs. Flood's there with an iPad.
Again, scene at the crime. Yes.
In terms of this episode...
Oh, it was a vindicator. That's all I wanted to hear.
That's all I wanted to hear.
Yeah, good.
What were you expecting to enjoy this one as much as you did? Was there some subconscious thing of like, well, Boom was great, episode 3? Because I know you joked about it.
There was a small voice. I was like, this is going to be the Boom, and you just don't know it yet. No. I don't know. I had the feeling that something was going to happen in it. I'm not saying nothing didn't happen. But it didn't live up to Boom's impact and significance. So as much as I did enjoy the episode overall, and I think there's more good compared to what we discussed last week with issues with the scripting and dialogue and just overall thoughts on the story thus far. Less of that is obvious in this script. Whether or not, again, if you do the episodes in this order again, once we know where everything all ends up, will these issues faults still be there? Or will we look and find new things to uncover in the well that didn't quite well live up to the finale? So I don't know, going back to if an episode is mirroring the previous season, I would have to say Boom for me is still Boom, and the well is still a very good episode by Companion.
Yeah.
But for me it doesn't necessarily top or live up to Boom, for me personally. And that's only watching it the once. Perhaps.
Okay. In
my quick opinion.
Do you think that, given the trajectory of the first 3 episodes, that hopefully this could go on and continue the momentum and possibly, as long as it ends well,
That's all I'm concerned about. As long as it ends well.
be one of the better seasons of Doctor
Even
Who.
if the twist this year is
ever.
that, even if the twist is that the part 1 of the finale is rubbish, as long as it actually ends okay.
Yeah, as long as it sticks the landing, so to speak.
Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to it. I'm optimistic. I'm still don't quite, again, addresses with the concern, with the fandoms and stuff aside, the state of the show and all that stuff. I still don't quite see where it's all heading, and why it's all turned into the way it is, and why it has been.
Mm-hmm.
I still think the show has some life in it and live on.
Is there anything else you want to point out about this episode? I think it was directed quite well. I like when they get to midnight, which is behind her. That's when they died. It's a nice little thing.
No, it was a horror episode. Jump scares.
Yeah,
You kept looking at the girl and you see something purposely move behind her.
you can imagine like
I was shitting myself watching it.
kids watching it and then being like, "Fuck!" Like, would this be like when
Scarier than midnight.
Like for me, like when I watched Empty Child Doctor Dances. Will it sort of have that thing of like, oh god, I hate being scared, but this is actually so well done because this is what the show's about.
Yeah.
It's like a lot of people
Yeah.
saying it's one of the first in a long time episodes of Doctor Who that was actually genuinely quite terrifying.
It was, and the thing is like not much was actually there. It was just people and something that was insinuated to be there that only one person could see at one time, and all you got told was don't go behind.
Don't
the
go
character
behind
centre
me.
of stage. Don't go behind
turn
her.
around.
Don't blink.
Don't look at me. I like that Stephen Moffat said Blink's time may be over because this is an instant classic.
Very high praise.
Very high praise from the man indeed. It makes me gutted that we've not got an episode of Stephen this year. If it comes back, I'd like him to...
Write a sequel to this.
Yeah. No,
Prove
no
our
less.
theory right.
Well, that he does it better.
No, but continue this threat that's been looming in the shadows and can learn
We've
and
seen
adapt. And...
We've seen part 3.
But then make part 4, damn it.
Make part
Ther-
6. Make it out of order.
Therapy in the wrong order, yeah. Monster therapy in the wrong order.
Were you sort of making the connections and they're like, it was a planet made of diamonds? Were you a bit like, oh?
I heard
Or
diamonds.
did you kind of be like,
No.
wait?
No, I
Because
went.
if that was me
I-
and I'd not watched
yeah.
it, I'd be like, what fucking planet was made of diamonds? There's loads of these.
Yeah, exactly. Meticulous 3.
three.
So I was like, Spider Planet. Is that Arachnis in the UK? No. I heard diamonds and I was like, no, that's an RTD thing. I don't know from where. I didn't quite link Moon Knight Dead Away, but I was like, no, this is a David Tennant callback. It's an RTD thing. But yeah, I heard diamonds because it doesn't feel that long ago since I've watched Midnight, even though it was a while ago. But I still had that. Yeah, it's a loose Midnight connection, if anything. But no, it until it was literally said, and like 400,000 years ago was just a random number. I didn't care about the number. If she
Oh yeah,
said,
because we never really knew.
400,000 years ago, I was
I
like,
wouldn't have
well,
taken any notice of Midnight's year.
No. But yeah, I just remember at the end where they get out the plane, they say the planet's made of diamonds. That's when it all came back. It
Yeah.
was literally because of the end of Midnight is where you only find out about the planet. Because Midnight is just them on a
Taking
plane.
a trip across the diamond planet called Midnight. What could possibly go wrong?
What could possibly go wrong? Yeah.
I'm going to be back here when I'm shooting at one. I
Well,
don't know
that's a
why.
long way
I don't know
round.
why 10th Doctor David Tennant
Jason
sounds a bit like
Statham.
Jason Statham. Listen, you fucking Daleks.
I'm the beekeeper. I'm the ongoing storm.
I'm in a film probably right now. Surprised I
The
wasn't.
mechanic.
Surprised I wasn't in marching powder.
No.
Should have been. Oh my god, Danny Dyer and
Bullet
Jason
train.
Statham. Bullet train, but it's just a bullet. I'm sitting on a bullet, and I get to Paddington Station. Get myself a Cafe Nero.
Gallifrey Station.
Gallifrey Falls. No more, you mug. Bang.
Bang.
Just gets out like an Uzi.
Sonic Uzi.
So, I mean, we've got to see what Andy's got to say, right?
Yeah. Over to him.
Over to him in the past, future, present space.
Time thing.
Hi Connor, missing you.
Yeah. Oh, Connor, what a great segue and joke. Ugh. He's so funny. He's so funny, that guy. Oh my god.
Oh no, right.
Laugh a minute.
What a riot! What a hoot! You
What
could
a
say,
hoot.
what a hoot! Such japes.
I love that we'll probably waffle just as long, even though it's only me and you. So
Well,
we're
yeah,
gonna-
because let's be real. I feel like the reason that the waffling happens whenever I'm on is because me and you just go off on tangents. And then
Yeah.
Paul Connor's there just like, come on, back to the point, back to the point. And I'm like, yeah, but Kylie fell in the reactor. And you're like, ha ha.
I think, isn't that like 90% of our friendship is just that? It's just me laughing and doing the odd Australian and probably stereotypically racist impression. But speaking of racist impressions, oh, where's it going? Where's it going?
Where is it going?
I don't know. Doctor Who is on every Saturday. Is that a thing? Is that happening? Where are we? Our long frequent collaborator, the man who must return every year, like the Daleks, but not nearly as nasty, Mr. Andy Kemp, back once again. It's the Renegade Master? Rani? Who is Mrs. Flood? It's Andy. Andy's Mrs. Flood.
Hello,
Or is he?
it's me. Yes, I am in fact Brian May's wife.
Oh, I want that on a t-shirt. So bad.
Yes, I am in fact Brian May's wife.
Yeah. Just, I think it's in life. I think that could just be better for the planet. How are you, my dear? It's great to hear your dulcet tones again.
Great to hear your voice as well, good sir. You
Oh.
have been missed.
It's always we were just saying. I don't know if I left it in or cut it because I got to actually edit these now, which is a fucking pain in the ass. Yeah, like we just like speak for hours. Like this could be like me and Connor could speak for like 10 minutes, and then this bit like in the middle might be like 3 hours long because we just might get distracted again.
I feel like we should probably make an effort to try and do like catch-ups like in between recordings, because I feel like we could just chat for hours, but then I'm worried I'll just keep you away from your family.
We genuinely would probably spend more time doing the catch-ups and less time doing that. The pod, like if we generally spoke about the well, I reckon we could, if we were sensible, do it in like half an hour. But then the other 4 hours is just like, oh, have you seen this thing that happened like 4 years ago in my memory banks? And like, yeah, well.
Do you want to know the most recent addition to my memory bank that keeps being thrown out of my mouth because of ADHD?
Oh, that could be a great name for it. We should do a separate podcast where it's just shit talk for an hour. It's just like, yeah, and then
Mate, do not tempt me. That's basically what we pay for your floor is. It's just a way for me, Sarah, and Phil to just offload the shit that our brains eject.
Yeah, but Phil does try his best to keep some structure to it.
He does. My current one, I have two currently that just keep coming into my brain, and they're both old sitcom sketches. One's from like the 2010s, one might be from even earlier than that. Did you ever see Watson and Oliver? Which, if you don't really know what that is, for context, it is a comedy sketch show featuring a double act called, I think it's Lorna Watson or Laura Watson, and Ingrid Oliver, who you may know as
Richard Osman's wife.
As Richard Osman's wife, or Osgood. Yeah, she started in sketch comedy, and there's a sketch from their show, and it's not her, it's the other lady doing it. And she's just like this lady who's trying to record an answer phone for this like old stately manor, but she keeps fucking it up. So she's going like, the museum is open on Monday. Sorry, Tuesday. Sorry, Sunday. But then every time she messes it up, she's like, what are you doing, Susan? What are you doing? And that has now become part of my daily vocabulary. If I'm at work and I've forgotten what I'm doing or I do something wrong, what are you doing, Susan? What are you doing?
That is fucking as fabulous as ever, Andy. This is why you're on. With these kind of things.
Wait for the second one. We will get to the well because we fucking need to, because oh my god. Anyway, the second one is an even older sketch from the Tracy Ullman show back when that was a thing.
Oh wow.
And it's her impression of Dame Helen Mirren doing an interview for a film, and the premise of the sketch is that Helen Mirren at the time was really well known for being a sort of older actress who was not afraid to be naked on screen. So she had quite a lot of film appearances where she, at one point in the film, would be naked, or at least have her top off. And that was the joke. So she's interviewing for this film called Fish Out Those Old Teats. And the interviewer's like, so what is it about the role in it, or what about this film and the role that made you take it? And she's like, well, the thing I love about this character in the film Fish Out Those Old Teats is that she's not afraid to, fish out those old teats. And like the whole joke is that Helen Mirren's just not scared to get her boobs out, and it's so funny. The impression is wonderful. But I was sat streaming on Saturday, and I'm trying to play Overwatch, and every time I got a kill, all I could think of was time to fish out those old teats. So yeah, that's my brain. Hello.
That is wicked. I mean, you never fail to disappoint. Like, I always think there's nothing else Andy can surprise me with, and then it's fish out those old teats. Maybe we should just talk about Helen Mirren's tits. Maybe that should be a podcast.
That would be very funny. A married man, a married man with a child and a second child on the way, and his gay friends talking about Helen Mirren's tits.
I think we could win awards for that kind of podcast.
Oh, we probably could, actually.
Where did the podcast come from? Well, we just, we wanted to fish out those old teats.
So that's exactly what we did. Thank you very much for the streaming. See you later.
Do you reckon we could get Helen Mirren on?
Oh my god, can you imagine?
I don't think I would be able to stop laughing.
I would. No, what we need to do is we need to get Helen Mirren and Tracy Ullman as Helen Mirren on at the same time.
Oh, just proper fucking go for it.
Another one I'd recommend from her, just before I do actually bring us to Doctor Who, I would recommend her sketches where she's playing Judi Dench, because one, it's a great impression, and two, the sketches are just really funny.
I think I've seen some of them.
Yeah, the concept of the Judi Dench sketches are essentially Judi Dench is the British national treasure, so she just goes around committing heinous minor crimes.
Yeah, I feel like I've seen that one.
And then every time someone catches her, she's like, well, I hardly think that I, Judi Dench, could have been caught doing such a... I mean, I'm a national treasure. And then they're always like, oh, yeah, of course you are. You're Judi Dench. Why would you do such a thing? And then the one of them I'm thinking of right now is where she's, like, throwing dog shit in a tree. Like, she's out walking her dog and she just keeps throwing the dog poop bags up in a tree. And this runner catches her and she's like, I'm a national treasure. What do you mean? And he's like, oh, sorry, I must be mistaken. Then he runs off. And then she turns around, flags him off, and just throws another one up in there. It's, so funny. Anyway, The Well.
Oh, God. That's fucking amazing. Helen Mirren apparently, while we're on the subject of on the subject of old women and their tits.
Oh, Connor, you are missing a treat.
And the best thing is, he's probably either not going to listen to this, or he's going to listen to this and then say nothing to me for the rest of our lives.
It's fine. I will be on your co-anchor, even though we'll get nothing done.
Oh, we need to make this podcast. I'm going to make the merch. It's just like t-shirts, but like the chest bits just cut out, so you could just release the teats.
Fish out those old teats.
Apparently, Helen Mirren used to set her alarm clock like an hour earlier, so she could always have sex with her husband before she went to work.
That's incredible.
Well, what a woman.
We love a strong woman. We really do love a strong woman.
We stan a strong, independent woman. And there are plenty of those in the well.
I was literally about to say that. That was my segue as well.
Oh, Andy, this is going to be a great day.
Literally, I think my two favourite things about The Well, apart from probably everything, to be honest, were the characters of Alice and, was it Shire? Shire? Yeah, the captain lady. Both of them were, so good. Anyway, yes, The Well.
I call her Captain Teats. Let me read it. Doctor Who. Oh my god.
And she's throwing herself down the well at the end. You just hear her cry out, fish out those old teats.
and then because you could do like a spin-off and like it's anyone from Doctor Who that's fallen down like a shaft or a well or a nuclear reactor. And they're all in purgatory, a bit like Stupid Death from Horrible Histories.
Oh my god, yeah!
Where the fuck's Car?
Just
What's her name?
A Doctor Who comedy spin-off that all the characters are just the people who've died by falling in Doctor Who.
Oh.
So it's like Shire, Astrid, the half-faced man from Deep Breath.
He's just got a hole in his chest and he's always trying to eat his dinner.
Jamie and Rory because they technically died by falling.
Oh yes, and we can't ever go to New York. Well, can they leave New York? Nah, it's not a thing.
We
Can't do
can't
it.
lose Preston. Sorry, that's another fucking. No, that's another one of my brain just vomiting something out.
That's all right. If I read out some of these character names, do you reckon you can recognize falling Captain Teats or
Yeah.
Hanno Yeft,
Nope.
Callow Rents?
Nope.
I thought I thought that said Mo Gilligan, the comedian, but it's Mo Gilbin.
No.
I imagine just one of the characters was just a comedian from South London. Kai Saba,
No.
Cassio Palin
No.
Pauline.
That's the guy who was a dick.
Oh, this woman is an Irish actress. Was she the woman who played Shia Costellino?
Yes, Shire, that's her.
Castellion or whatever it is. Her name, all right, like the real actress name, Caoilfhionn.
That sounds Irish.
That's cauliflower, right?
Captain Shire, therefore renamed Cauliflower Teats.
Cauliflower's fluffy and cabbage is
Captain
teeth.
Cauliflower Teats.
Oh god, we need to make this podcast happen, Andy. We really do. I won't bother asking you your thoughts on the shooting gallery of Doctor Who because after every episode we speak to each other anyway.
Yes.
But I can gather your thoughts because since the last time you were on, there's been 2 other episodes that I've seen messages from, but tell the audience your thoughts on season 2 so far.
So I thought the Robot Revolution was pretty good, much better than Space Babies, which is pretty much what I was hoping for.
Correct.
Honestly, my thought process going into Series 2 was pretty much just, please be better than Space Babies, and I'll be fine. And it was, so, that's good. I saw some people weren't that fond of it. I thought it was pretty good. Like, I understand it was a little bit... There were some silly aspects, and the plot... I don't know, some of the plot points didn't necessarily slot together as neatly as I think RTD thought they might, but I liked the overall concept, the idea of, like, the time split and that causing the revolution because of the whole thing with the Star Certificate. And it was pretty cool. I did like it. I think that the main selling point of Robot Revolution was definitely Belinda. Like, she, from the jump, set an amazing impression.
Yep. I love her.
And I think she's wonderful. And as much as I loved Ruby, I was very disappointed with the resolution of her story. So I was kind of like really happy when I liked Belinda as much as I did, and I can completely see why Russell wanted to hire Barada Setu as a companion. Oh, hello.
Hello. Sorry, like the internet is shit. I don't know if you've been pre-warned by anyone.
It's done it before. I remember it doing it before.
It'll all have caught that in the thing. Just I won't have heard it, so I'll just have to guess. Oh, so you thought that Russell T Davies is the best writer of all time and RTD2 is better than RTD1? Interesting.
No, the 2 selling points of Robot Revolution for me were Belinda and Manny's arms, because my god, that man was attractive. Like, don't get me wrong, shit character, did nothing, just stood there and held a pillar and then got annoyed at Belle for no reason. But my god, that man was attractive.
He was also in a Mission Impossible film, I believe, or 2
was
of them.
He?
I think he's in 6 and 7.
All I know is I looked him up after the episode was done, so I was like, I need to know who this man was. He was beautiful. I need more of him in my life, so I looked him up. He was apparently, I think, in Emmerdale? I think he was in Emmerdale.
All the good-looking ones are.
Say that again?
All the good-looking ones normally are, aren't they?
I believe he was in Emmerdale. He's openly gay in real life and is currently dating the man who played his brother on Emmerdale, which is a very interesting, like, way to go about finding a partner, but fair enough, I guess.
Hey, if it ain't broke, don't fuck it.
But yeah, Robot Revolution, I enjoyed. Solid 7 out of 10, I think. Not spectacular, certainly not bad. I enjoyed it. Lux, fun fact, I believe Lux is Phil's favourite episode of the era currently now.
Wow, okay.
I mean, we both loved Lux. I think Phil loved it a bit more than I did, but we both really enjoyed it. I know some people kind of don't like the fact that the show's gone a little bit sort of more whimsical and magical and having the gods and shit, but if it's done in a fun way, I really enjoy the Pantheon. Like, I think the only Pantheon episode I haven't liked was Empire of Death, and that was purely for the way it handled Ruby's story and the resolution. Like, Legend of Ruby Sunday and the build-up for Sutek I thought was awesome, but it's just the second part really let it down. But yeah, I really enjoyed Lux. I thought Alan Cumming was the standout as Mr. Ringerding, hence why he's my picture here, because we rewatched it last night, and pretty much since I rewatched it, I have had Mr. Ringerding's little song in my head on a loop.
I'm Mr. Ring-a-ding.
Ring-a-ding, I make your heart bells sing. Oh, such a good character, so fun. Yeah, thoroughly enjoyed Lux. Solid, I think 8.5 for me.
Yep.
Don't know if it's in my top. I don't know if it's in my top 5 of RTD2. If it is in my top 5 of RTD2, it's like number 5, I think. I'm trying to think what my top 5 of RTD2 currently is now. It'd be Wild Blue Yonder, Boom, Rogue. Actually, yeah, and then I think Lux and The Well, without spoiling anything. So yeah, okay, no, I think Lux would make it just.
Yeah. Okay.
And yeah, and then we come to The Well.
Well, as Duffy said in the early 2000s.
Oh, Duffy, I haven't heard that name in a while.
Don't you think this podcast is gonna be fucking long? You know her famous song "Mercy."
Yeah.
Do you think it sounds like she's singing Birdseed?
You've seen the Peter Kay sketch, then, haven't you?
Yes.
She's giving it birdseed. For years, I thought that Paul asked for begging me for birdseed. I'm not the biggest Peter Kay fan, but I do love the misheard lyrics skit. That bit's very funny.
I like the guy on Britain's Got Talent that did it, like the old man who just had cue cards, and instead of I'm every woman, it was I'm Terry Wogan.
But then again, aren't we all?
Oh, an answer is what we need. Going into, because you picked this one. Did you pick this one? I don't remember.
So no, actually,
Who are you?
I picked the Interstellar Song Contest because I would hazard a guess that of all of your regular Doctor Who viewers who partake in this podcast, I am probably the biggest Eurovision nut of all of us. So I picked it, the Interstellar Song Contest, but then someone dropped out, and episode 3 now needed filling. So I think there was 2 that needed filling. I think it was 3 and 5, and I said I'd do 3 so that I didn't do 2 back to back.
Yes, because Guy was originally doing Lux, and then
Yes.
Will jumped in his grave as soon as Guy said I can't because of work commitments. So then it was like, well, if everyone doubles up, then it's 4 guests doing double eps. But and yeah, you jumped.
Just lets you all know you've got more of this to come in like 2 weeks. Yay!
We should have just done one big 4-hour long cut of it.
Yeah, but George, only 15 minutes of that would be us talking about Doctor Who. The other 3 hours and 45 minutes would just be us laughing at Fish Out Those Old Teats.
We're gonna remake it. We're gonna start writing new episodes of Fish Out Those Old Teats. We're gonna make it to
you're
a fucking...
Helen Mirren. You're absolutely Helen Mirren.
Oh yes, okay. I want Connor to play my breasts.
No, it's me and Connor, one on each side.
Oh, like the old Dick and Dom sketches.
Yeah,
Where
yeah,
like you'd have Diddy Dick and Diddy Dom in the cupboard, and
yeah,
it'd just be your head surrounded by the prosthetic of a tit.
yeah. Absolutely. We'll be
And then-
our faces will be where the nipples are.
No, the nipple will be on the end of your nose.
Even better. Oh God! Right. Before we get too sidetracked again, George, what did you think of The Well?
I love The Well a lot. Like, I mean, it was. I wish leeks didn't exist. Not the vegetable. I think they're quite nice. I. Had it not been spoiled for me, I think this would have been a great episode to go blind and just have that reaction. Planet, what's it called? Trenzalore. Oh no, that's 2013. We can't do that again. I think he was great. He promised that's going to piss people off because that what pisses people off for some reason. A man in touch with his emotions. Oh, you can't have that. Belinda is still fabulous. This is also the episode where Shooty's ass is very prominent in that spacesuit. So if you like cake, there's plenty of Bake Off here for you.
Can I just say?
I think, yeah.
Shooty is a fine man. Like, my God. Like, he's easily, I think, up there as, like, the hottest Doctor now. Don't get me wrong, I still love Matt Smith, and I do still have a weird thing for him, but, oh my God, Shooty is just beautiful.
Matt Smith is, like, freaky, nerdy hot. But then all of them are.
He was freaky nerdy.
I'd give Colin a go.
David Tennant was hot back in the day as well, but, like, I think the weird thing with Matt Smith is
hot now.
Let's say that again.
David Tennant's still hot now. He ages like a fine wine, that man.
He has, actually, yeah, to be fair. I think the weird thing with Matt Smith is he went from weird, nerdy, hot to then he did Morbius and got buff. So then he was like weird, nerdy, hot, but also buff, which just made him hotter.
Yes. He went from like yes sir to yes daddy.
Yeah, essentially.
Is that
but yes, The Well was. Oh,
is that better?
Yeah, that's better.
Lovely.
No, you've cut off again.
Terrible. But it's just
George, you've cut off. You keep cutting off, mate. 1 minute. Let me put it in. I'll put it in chat. 1 minute.
Yeah. Hello.
Check the chat. Hello. It's just me. Ha ha ha! I have fully taken over now.
Is that better?
Yeah, there we go. I can hear you again now.
The connection to the previous RTD story wasn't necessarily needed. I think I could have enjoyed it just as much without it.
That, honestly, is one of the reasons why I rate this episode so highly. Because me and Phil said the same thing, or very similar things, but like, when obviously all the leaks came out and it was rumored that episode 3 was a sequel to Midnight, which understandably I think everyone was like, oh, really? Because Midnight's kind of, even though it's not one I watch very often because it still kind of freaks me out to this day, like Midnight is very much the gold standard in terms of what Doctor Who can be, especially low budget Doctor Who. So I think the idea of them touching it again was a bit, ooh, maybe not. But actually, not only do I think they got away with it, I think they actually did something really quite amazing with it. But like you said, the episode could have had nothing to do with Midnight, and it still would have been just as good. And that's honestly, I think, one of the big selling points for me is that even though that tie-in is there. It never felt like the episode was relying on that tie-in to be like, hey, look, this is a good episode. It's midnight again, if that makes sense.
Yeah, totally. I mean, the only thing is that the creature behaves completely differently, so that's obviously why it's like, oh, it's evolved, like it's changed. It's had hundreds of thousands of years, and it's.
I saw a really interesting theory about this, and this is another reason why this episode has really stood out to me of any of the last few years, is there are so many fan theories that I keep seeing going around, and all of them deserve some form of credit for going, that actually could be very true. And I love that even though we have revisited the planet Midnight and the creature that caused the problems back in the episode Midnight, we still don't really know anything about them, and RTD1 did a very good job making sure we never saw it still, or only saw very, very brief, quick glimpses, but also leaving things open-ended enough so that people can speculate. So I saw one theory that the reason this time it was throwing people around and breaking every bone in their body as it did it, rather than making them mimic and repeat and stuff, is because the last time we saw it, it was killed, quote unquote, by the air hostess, opening the airlock and it getting pulled out by the air vacuum and being thrown out. And very people are speculating maybe it remembered that.
Oh, I like that one. I didn't know if he was gonna. Have you heard the idea that this is part of a trilogy?
I haven't seen a full-on speculation that it's a trilogy. I have seen people saying they now want it to be a trilogy, which honestly I don't think I do.
No, apparently this is the middle part of a trilogy that's already happened.
Oh.
So the theory that I've seen, because this is our new section, Theory Corner, is that it goes Midnight, The Well, and Wild Blue Yonder.
That's interesting because, if you were to ask me, prior to The Well, which episode of Doctor Who was probably most like Midnight that wasn't Midnight, I would have said Wild Blue Yonder.
Yes. So where there's, it knows the Doctor's name, and we'll get into that. But, I don't know if someone said because where the Doctor spoke to it that maybe there was a connection and it could see the Doctor's mind or something, but I don't know if this bit's synonymous with all the theories because I've seen different versions of this, but one of them was the entity split in two, one bit of it died, but the other bit got away and then sort of learnt to sort of divide and conquer through memories of by generation that the Doctor had given it. And it adapts to a point where it becomes the non-things in Wild Blue Yonder because you've got the mimicking and things like that. You got the weird sort of violent tendencies of it. Maybe it escapes on that shuttle because there's 4 life forms in it apart from 3 on the airlock, even though there's only 3 people in there.
Oh yeah, that I was going to mention that detail later, but yeah, that was a cool little thing that RTD did.
So maybe it evolves to a point where it's on the edge of space, and then that's why it's targeting the Doctor because it sort of maybe it knows the Doctor before. Because it's seen that version of the Doctor at least once, and it's come across the Doctor on multiple occasions now. Maybe they evolved to their highest point in Wild Blue Yonder, and it's that thing trying to get to Earth.
Yeah,
possibly.
Russell, I mean, even if it turns out that Wild Blue Yonder isn't connected to Midnight, because this episode was, I don't know if you've seen any of the behind-the-scenes stuff, but Russell has said that this episode was actually not initially what's the word? Imagined as a sequel.
Yeah.
It was originally going to be its own standalone thing, and then the more he wrote it, I think he said he had a script initially that he just wasn't very happy with it, and there were parts that he just couldn't make work. But then the more he thought about the ideas that he had, the more he kind of realised that this was essentially kind of almost like Midnight 2, so he just decided, fuck it, let's just go for that.
Yeah, which I think then lays more credit to why he's a co-writer, that maybe it's just he's looked at that and gone, let me put in the bits that link it to Midnight, and that's enough to give him a partial writing credit on it, and then hopefully the rest was done by what's the name? What's the name?
Sharma, something. I'm trying to remember.
Sharma Angel something.
Yes, something like that.
Yeah, because it was like, oh, Russell's co-writing something, but then that makes more sense because it didn't feel like and Russell wrote that much of it. It felt like this was very much its own thing, and he's kind of done the sort of weave between to get like, well, the dialogue to link it to Midnight, maybe sort of tweak a few of the elements to maybe fit more with that and just to streamline it a bit more. Like how I think Chibnall did, because was it Vinny Patel that wrote Fugitive the Jadoon? And he basically Chris Chibnall's co-writing credit, I believe, would have been the Jack stuff to sort of like weave it all in and make it fit.
Yeah.
So maybe it was just that, but yeah, really strong episode. Like maybe I know Connor jokes about it, but maybe episode 3 of the seasons is where it's at because you had Boom and then you got this.
I mean, yeah, so far.
But I really enjoyed everything about it. I liked that it felt like an old-fashioned base under siege story. I thought for a first time in a long time the guest cast were great. Like I really enjoyed everyone.
Yeah.
Like even the asshole guy that got absolutely battered into a wall.
I mean, it still took great acting on his part to make that character as dislikable as he was.
Yes.
So yeah.
And
But
Belinda's just fucking fabulous.
She
And I like
really is.
Just yeah. I would have liked, I don't know if you saw, I said last week that I would have maybe liked this episode swapped with Lux. Like the Doctor putting her in more danger before wholeheartedly she starts trusting him at the end of Lux.
Yes, having
This is a
rewatched
much more
Lux
deadly
yesterday,
situation.
Yeah, having rewatched Lux yesterday, that is one thing that felt a little bit too rushed. Was her like sudden willingness to trust him. And yeah. I understand part of that's probably down to the fact that they are constrained to 8 episodes, but like this is where we need longer seasons.
Yes, I'd take 10 and just lower the budget. I mean, we might have to at this rate, but that's another thing we can get into.
That's what I mean. Yeah, I mean, since you've mentioned it, I do not mind if they cut down on the budget and make longer seasons. Like we've kind of already mentioned, some of the best episodes of Doctor Who are the low budget ones. Look at Midnight. That's literally one location. Almost no CGI, literally just people in a room, and it's one of the best rated episodes ever.
Yes, one of my favorite episodes ever as well, and I think it's in that run of episodes in series 4 where it's just probably one of the best runs of episodes ever in terms of quality. I know that I think I like series 3 better overall, but like in everything from what is it?
Silence in the Library.
Silence in the Library. What's before that? I think
Unicorn
everything after Unicorn and the Wasp is like fabulous.
I mean, I love Unicorn and the Wasp, but I love it because it's funny.
I like it. I'm not a great fan of the writer of it.
No, Gareth Roberts can get fucked, but
yes. But yeah, like it's like Boomtown. Boomtown was written by accident because they run out of money. Like episode 11 of series 1 was meant to be completely different, and we got Boomtown, and I fucking love Boomtown.
I love Boomtown. Yeah, it's one of my favorite episodes of the season.
And sorry, carry on.
No, go on.
You were I was basically just backing up your point of if the story is well written, like I don't mind how much worse it looks because they've tied themselves into that money with the set and like the Disney-fine and all Doctor Who should look like Star Wars. But as Mike rightfully pointed out on Discord, even Star Wars fans at the moment don't like Star Wars, so it's probably not the best thing to want to be like Star Wars.
Yeah, and also like Doctor Who doesn't need to be like Star Wars. It's a British television show. It's not a big cinematic universe, and it doesn't have to be. But I'm trying to think. Like, obviously, we mentioned Midnight's a really good example of like a really good low budget episode. Boomtown's one that we really enjoyed. But then, even if you look at the episodes that do have a bit more budget, stylistically, I think one of the best eras of the show, just in terms of how it looks and the direction, is the Capaldi era because they made the money they had stretch.
Yes,
Heaven Sent,
great as well.
Heaven Sent is one of the best looking episodes of the show. and that's a lot of that is down to how Rachel Talalay directed it to make the shots the way they are, even though it's not that heavy with the special effects. And like some of the special effects in Heaven Sent look a bit janky now. Like the whole part of the castle turning, like that bit looks a bit wobbly now because it's like nearly 10 years old. But point is, the episode still looked stunning, and it didn't have the big Disney budget, but it also had such an incredible story and writing. And I feel like the story and the writing needs to take more focus than the flashiness and the, oh, look how good this looks.
They're doing style over substance, aren't they?
It feels like it a little bit.
Which is a shame, especially when you get episodes like this. I think, you know, in the last 2 seasons, if we're going just off of that, I think like, you had Boom, you had Rogue that I really enjoyed. Devil's Called was great. Like there's still great stories coming through, but I feel like if we get the story right and then, make it look as good as you can, like I'd take 10 episodes. I'd take 12 episodes if they were a bit shitty. I don't mind. We had 13 episodes a year consistently for like 7 years.
Yeah. None of the episodes that I love in this era so far are loved because they look so big and flashy.
Exactly. It's the story, isn't it?
The only one that I would argue maybe kind of gets away with it is looks, and that's because I feel like the budget kind of helped to make Mr. Ring-a-Ding and the sort of animation sequences look as good as they did.
Yes.
Like that, I will concede that episode, I think, needed the budget it had in order to work, because if the animation had have looked bad, then the episode might have fallen flat on its face.
But thankfully, it was fabulous. But yeah, this one, like you could have. I mean, would there really have been a lot of money spent on this one? It was just a lot of people in a quarry.
Yeah, literally. Most of the episode was spent in one room, kind of like Midnight. It was a bigger room, but it was still mostly set in one central room. And again, we never really saw the creature. And if you look at the behind the scenes, the bits that we did see were literally just like a guy in a black suit with a weird mask on.
Yeah, that's just Paul Casey's face.
Yeah.
Paul Facey. I think especially when you've had I think the strong start that we've had to the season, it seems to be steadily going in the right direction. Had we just had some more of this last year in terms of story, then make it look good and like polish it up, Lux aside for the use of animation, it's not had to use a lot of money for those kind of things. You could have, and if this is the last of the Ncuti Gatwa era of Doctor Who, it's just a shame that we had 2 Doctor Light episodes last year. We've got a Doctor Light episode next week. Like it's all a bit like, is it wasted? I mean, he would definitely come back in a heartbeat, I would hope, if it was ever an anniversary or Big Finish. I think he'd fucking absolutely love. But the man's going to be busy. Like, we're letting go of a fucking superstar potentially, and he cries too much. I mean, people can say that, but like, it's a doctor that's been through a lot. There's the trauma and stuff that's there. He's still doing his weird life in reverse thing that fucking, whether By Generation ever gets sewn up or not, I don't think Russell really cares. But I think it's just like episodes like this, I'm like, God, I hope he doesn't leave for a long, long time.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, that might be out of our hands.
Yeah, it's quite funny though. The moment he started crying in this episode, I was like, well, that's people going to start complaining, even though this episode's been incredible.
Yeah, literally.
And also, like, no matter what your thoughts are on, the 15th Doctor cries too much or whatever, do you not think it was justified? Because he's come face to face after 17 years for us with one of the few monsters that has ever genuinely terrified him. Like, of course he's scared.
And nearly got him killed.
Yeah.
But yeah, oh God, he's great. Belinda continues to be amazing. Like I like how naturally she's quite engaging with the side characters purely because she's a nurse, so she's got to kind of be able to jump in and sort of talk to anybody and sort of get the job done, kind of thing.
It's kind of the opposite of what happened with Yaz a lot in the Chibnall era. Like, Yaz was the police officer, but I think we maybe saw her be a police officer maybe 3 times, whereas, Belinda's been in 3 episodes, and in all 3 of them, she has used the fact that she's a nurse as part of her character.
Yes.
Like, we saw her trying to help people in Robot Revolution. She wanted to heal the Doctor in Lux, and now she was like caring for Alice when she noticed that she was injured.
Yes, and I love those two together. I wanted it to be a bit more confrontational because the stuff after the end of Robot Revolution where she throws Sasha 55 back in his face straight away and it's like, I don't trust this man. And then next week it's like, I completely trust you. I feel like had we had this, it would have probably justified how she was feeling about him, and then you would have had Lux and be like, oh no, like this guy generally is trying to help and like, he's doing the best he can kind of thing. Maybe I should stop giving him a hard time. But instead it was like, I trust you so much. Let's go. Oh, we still can't get home, but it's fine. Oh my God, I'm in a murder well.
Speaking of Alice, that's
Alice,
the next
oh
thing
my
I
God.
wanted to mention. Oh my God. I looked up her name. She's been in something else that me and Phil watched recently. She was in
EastEnders.
What?
She was in EastEnders, wasn't she? She's an alum.
Apparently she was, but she was also in an episode of. It was a show recently with David Mitchell and Anna Maxwell Martin. It was a comedy drama.
Ludwig?
What's it called? Ludwig, yes.
I've not actually finished watching that. Was it any good?
It was good, yeah, we liked it.
I love David Mitchell. It's just me, like, from the future.
They left it pretty open so that they can do a second season, and I think they've confirmed they are going to do it because it did really well.
Oh, lovely.
But yeah, Ludwig was good. But yeah, so her name was Rose Ayling Ellis. That's the actress's name, or actor's name. She was in one of the later episodes of Ludwig. But no, her performance as Alice is one of the best guest star performances I think we've ever had.
Oh yeah, I would. I've seen so many people raving about that on Twitter. Definitely, I think she was fabulous. Do you subscribe to the theory that she was dead the whole time and she was puppeteered by the creature?
I don't know, but it is a fun one. That's another thing. I love all the speculation and how so many of them. You think about it and you're like, it could be right, and we just don't know, and that's kind of why I love it.
And Russell doesn't know because he's just fucking making it up as he goes along. You were named after a street.
Oh, fuck me. I can't believe the man who wrote this phenomenal, incredible episode also wrote the big mystery of the series is you were named after a road. Get fucked.
Time is shrouding her because you think she's important. No, you told us she was important, Russell. That was the whole thing. But anyway, I bet Mike's
I will still never forgive him for that. It pissed me off so much. And then going essentially mocking us or saying that we were silly for thinking she was going to be. It's like, we thought she was going to be something big and special because you spent 8 episodes telling us she was going to be.
Yeah. What is the mystery of this girl? Well, nothing really.
I did find it quite funny how people are getting, or at least a couple of people I've noticed, have commented on the fact that this is the 4th time in Modern Who the on-running episode, the on-running sort of arc of a series is who is this fucking woman and why is she everywhere? And this is the 2nd season in a row where it's happened.
Yeah, because was it Mrs. Flood? I mean, Mrs. Flood wasn't everywhere last year. She wasn't in every episode. She was in Near Enough, wasn't she? That was
Susan
Susan Sutek woman.
Yeah.
What the fuck was her name?
Susan Dryad.
Oh yes. It's the wrong anagram. But she's working for Unit. Where the fuck is she? What's she doing?
There was her, and then we had Missy back in Series 8, and then we had Valen Gavarian back in Season 6. For some reason, Modern Doctor Who apparently loves the plotline of who is this random lady and why is she appearing everywhere.
You're forgetting the big one. Clara.
What? Actually, Clara.
She's everywhere. Where the fuck's she been? Fucking chasing after Patrick Troughton body doubles by the looks of it.
I have a theory about Mrs. Flood,
Do
and
it.
but well,
Bring it to me.
I don't know because I don't want to. I don't want to potentially spoil it because it's a theory that looks like it might actually be fairly like solid. Especially with another piece of information that has recently kind of come to light.
Go do it, and then I'll cut this bit out so the audience won't know.
Okay, so and
She's the Rani.
yeah,
Everyone's gone. Okay, well, what's the thing that you've heard? Because I've tried to avoid leaks, like in general.
so apparently she is the Rani.
Yes.
But the most recent bit of evidence that seems to really hold that theory together is someone. There was like a leak where apparently Russell mentioned that there were like 3 big aspects to this series or something like that. There was the series, there's the spin off, and then there was like another secret little project that he wasn't revealing yet. And I think someone has discovered that that secret project, supposedly, if this is to be believed, is an episode of Tales of the TARDIS, kind of like how they did with Pyramids of Mars last year.
Yeah.
So, like, obviously they released that after Legend of Ruby Sunday, so people could kind of learn who Sutek was through that. Apparently, there is a Tales of the TARDIS set to come out after episode 7 of this season, where it is Seven and Nell talking about time in the Rani.
Oh, I'd love that. I'd love that. That's fucking amazing. Oh. Because have you seen the thing that shows she's apparently a bi-generated?
Yes,
Rani.
she's supposedly a bi-generated Rani, yeah.
And have you seen who the second half of that is supposedly meant to be?
I have not, but I'm curious. I have thought it.
Would you like me to tell you? I mean, I can cut all this out.
Is it going to be Belinda?
Apparently so, because in Robot Revolution,
She said TARDIS, which I did point out when it aired.
she said TARDIS, but also she's referred to, I think, as like Queen translates as Rani or something. Like someone says that. They call
Okay.
her, and it's because because Chandra, like Rani Chandra from Sarah Jane Adventures, the Rani. She even
I
hates
swear to
children.
God, if that's part of it, because I remember when her name was first revealed, I did say, does Russell just not know any other vaguely Indian surnames?
Yes, it's a bit sort of limiting, but yeah, apparently that. But also, have you seen the theory that apparently only I've seen because I told Mike about it and he seemed genuinely shocked. That supposedly, like with every year, Susan's going to be in the finale. Just like last year, she was definitely going to be there. But that the Doctor and Belinda are like their life partners. Like she doesn't know who she is because she's actually the Doctor's spouse. So Susan's other grandparent. And
What?
this comes from. It was started by, and you'll think it's ridiculous, and I think it as well. But it would be fucking. I wouldn't put it past Russell at this point, because on the press tour, when they were posting pictures, they were constantly referring to each other as mum and dad, and people have run with that. That they are Susan's grandparents,
So
like she is his other half. She is the
15,
yes.
15
Well, like
and this other half of the Rani.
no, in this theory, she's not the Rani. She's just the Doctor's other half.
Oh, okay, got you.
She's just another Time Lord lady that because he says that weird thing, doesn't he? Like last season, where he's like, she is my granddaughter, will be my granddaughter. Time sort of like works differently, even though it fucking doesn't. Because in his own personal history, he still had a family and kids. He wouldn't then go back in time as Shooty Gatwa, fuck his William Hartnell wife, and give birth to his William Hartnell kids. So I don't. That's the only thing I'm like. You don't have your kids out of order, but if they're gonna do it, I wouldn't be fucking surprised if Russell would. It's a bit of a stretch, but it's one that I'm kind of like that would send the fandom into meltdown.
Mm.
But yeah, I mean, I'd watch it. I mean, I will. I'll be there. I'll be in the sky.
It's an interesting theory.
Mm.
Um,
It's not the most
I,
concrete one, is it?
no, it's a little bit out there, but sure. Um, but yeah, I'm fairly, and I know everyone says this, it's never the Rani. I'm fairly convinced, given the stuff that we've seen, that it's probably gonna be true.
Yeah, I'm a bit pissed off because he's like Russell T Davies is just purposely bringing back villains that either only appeared once or weren't really that good. So where the fuck are the Naimon? Because you were, I mean, I would love. I'm putting it on you, the audience, and you, Andy. You would all love. How many Naimon have you seen today? But it's like a slasher horror episode, a bit like this one. It's just like, but it's instead of like it's a creature you can't see, it's literally a man dressed as a space minotaur standing behind someone's back. You know, like when a child plays hide and seek, and they're like pretending you can't see him. It'd be like that, and then they just jump out of a woo, and then like headbutt them. Where are all these people with chest injuries coming from, Doctor?
Because thinking about it, yeah, in she was only in 2 episodes in Classic, wasn't she? The Rani was never in that great episodes, really. Thinking
Yeah,
about
because
it.
Mark of the Rani and Time, well, I mean, Time of the Rani is when fucking regeneration acid brain riddled Sylvester McCoy mistakes bloody what was her name? What was the woman who played the Rani? What was her name? Why have I forgotten that?
Oh shit. Oh, I can't remember now either.
Kate Mara?
I think it was Kate Mara or Katie Mara, something like that.
I have to fucking
Kate O'Mara, yeah.
Amara, yes. Like he mistakes Kate Amara, who's completely different and much older at the time, for Bonnie Langford. That's his acid brain, and I don't remember Mark of the Rani. I know that Sylvester McCoy's angry, but he's angry all the time, even in real life. So it could have been any point. Anything could happen. Yeah, like Sutek, like I mean, Pyramids of Mars probably, it's a go-to. It's one of the greatest stories ever. But Sutek, were people clamoring for Sutek? I mean, let's bring back the fucking like Vervoids and shit like that. You know what I mean? The
I want
Chumley.
the trickster back.
The Trickster's been name dropped so many times that I'd be surprised if he never brought the Trickster back into Doctor Who.
I want the trickster in Doctor Who, because the trickster, as much as Sarah Jane Adventures is genuinely great, the trickster is too good a villain not to only have in one spin-off season.
I mean, he was like throughout it, wasn't he? Like he was the big bad.
Yeah,
And only
pretty
faced the
much.
Doctor. Only faced the Doctor once, as far as we know. I know that there was that creature from Turn Left was part of his brigade of like allies. So like was name dropped in 2008, but then nothing. Even the fucking Mara from Snake Dance, like they're getting a fucking mention. Like what the fuck? What are we pulling out next? Like the bloody gun people from Gunfighters with that shitty dentist song. Where are they?
Bring back the dregs from Orphan 55.
Bring back Benny.
Benny! I knew you were going there. No, but that's the thing. You mentioned the name drop though. Like, yeah, the main overarching sort of like theme or appear or like yeah, I guess fuck, words, they've gone. What was I going to say? The main sort of like overarching enemies of this current era have been the Pantheon of Discord, which is literally a group that I think was first mentioned with the Trickster. So why has he not appeared yet?
I'd love if have they still got that costume, and is that actor that plays him still alive? That's the main thing. So as long as that's all good, get him in it. But is the finale going to be Mrs. Flood is the villain, and it's like, oh, we're going to reveal that she's the timey-wimey Rani, or like, are we going to have another obscure 70s Doctor Who bad guy as a CGI dog? Like, I don't know. But I just, like the Mrs. Flood thing. I mean, my favorite one really, I think, was in Robot Revolution because she was there and then she was gone. And like it was a
Yeah.
bit too obvious and ominous in Lux, so it's like limited run only, May the 24th. That's when the finale's starting. Bye everyone. See you next week. And then I liked this one. I think this was a good one, like the Vindicator thing of like, oh, was he carrying this? Excellent. A bit. She should have like leaned into like full 80s Cyberman, cyber leader. Excellent.
I was a
But
little bit interested when she was like, yeah, excellent, that's very good news. Why is that good news? Do you want him to succeed?
yeah, well, I know that there's a thing of like she may be like the god of dreams or something, and because there's the reality war and there's
Wish
uh
World.
wish world, and it's like it, and it's is a wish. A wish is a dream that your heart makes. Something Disney. Like, is it the distinction between that? Is she, does she alter reality? Is that why she's sort of like doing something to make herself real? Is that why she's talking to the audience? Because in her mind, she's not a real person. She's a character in a show. Because we've had allusions to that in Lux, that they can alter stuff, and
Mm.
they can make it so. Oh, I love the one with the blink one where you can't blink, and that was such a oh, I love you, Stephen Moffat from Russell, wasn't it? Really, but
It's really funny how Stephen Moffat is very straight and has had a wife for a very long time, but RTD basically is his wife as well.
oh, I would watch a sitcom where they are an old married couple living in a house, much like the old Morecambe and Wise sketches when they're just in bed.
I like the idea that when Russell's pissed Stephen off, though, he goes to his office and it's just that gif of him playing with the little figures.
Yes. Oh, definitely. And I love that it's just like he'll see that it's Russell calling him and probably be like, oh, fuck, what now? And then he'll still answer it and do whatever he asks. Can you write Christmas for me, darling? I'm so busy. I'm struggling for words other than this was really good. Like I liked a lot of it. I liked the direction of it. I think it was directed well, considering that Midnight works on a technical level because it's essentially a 45-minute play. And this was sort of like that, but there was actual sets and stuff to move around and do this time. So it was like it was. Do you know what it reminded me of? You know how we knew the Weeping Angels were coming back, and after Blink we got Time of Angels, Flesh and Stone, and it was like, right, it needs to sort of add new elements to them, but not like distinguish away too much from what made the first one good.
Yeah.
But we're sort of, you have to up the ante, and like, there's more at stake, there's more at risk, and it felt a bit like that. And I just think, other than the fact that you could have completely removed the existing element and it would have worked just as well, I think it did what it needed to do. It wasn't too much. I could have seen more of it, and I also could have just had it be this own mysterious thing that we never found out what it was.
I have a lot of thoughts. I can spiel them off if you would like.
Go for it before my internet caves in.
Going back to Rose, Rose who played Alice, I just want to say I loved how her being deaf was incorporated into the plot, and how, even though it did kind of end up being important. And by the way, I did call that the reason she survived was because she was deaf. I said that like quite early on when they were sort of questioning why she was still here. I was like, I wonder if it's something to do with the fact that she can't hear and everyone else could. And the reason I thought of that is because I've had a very similar idea for a Doctor Who episode in my head for quite a while, but I never thought of a way to be able to make it sort of more fleshed out. But I had the idea for these like creatures where if you hear them, then it means you're going to die. But then, obviously, if you're deaf, you can't hear them, and that means that someone who is deaf would survive. So yeah, I don't know why that like triggered something in my brain where I went, I wonder if it's because she's deaf. But yeah, it turned out it kind of was. But yeah, I loved how it was incorporated, but I also loved that it wasn't like, in a weird way, even though the story was even though it was somewhat integral to the story, I liked that they also didn't make a big thing out of it. It was just, she's deaf, cool. and I liked how sort of normalized the inclusion of like the things that they wore that had the subtitles for her. Essentially, that was really cool. I also really liked that 15 spoke to her in sign language for a little bit, and that we didn't get any subtitles for that. So it kind of just felt like that was just a little moment for them, which was really sweet.
Yeah, I like that. And then before the whole like, oh no private conversations, you bastards. But even though like that was before we realised that Captain Teats falling down the well was a lovely character.
Yeah, she was great. I loved her. There's so much I loved. I loved that the mirror thing came back, even though I knew it was going to, because that was the mirror thing was very much Chekhov's gun. It was like, oh, all the mirrors are broken, and then like we're half an hour, 35 minutes in, and I'm like, okay, we still don't know why the mirrors are broken, so that's going to come back, and then it indeed did. And I like the way that they made their own mirror using the liquid mercury. That was a really cool idea. I love I know it's kind of very weirdly specific, but I love the way that the creature killed all the characters being because they were stood at the midnight hour of the clock. That was just like a really cool little nerdy detail.
Yeah, I'm agreeing with everything you're saying. I'm just letting you flow, but I'm sitting here nodding.
I think the scene where Cassio kept making Alice turn around and kept getting his crew killed was one of the most tense scenes we've had in Doctor Who in a while. That was really well done, and I love that the solution to it was Shire using his subtitle thing so that Alice could see that she'd told her to turn around. That was really well done. A lot of this episode was just so well done, and like we said earlier, the fact that it would have worked just as well without being a tie to Midnight, I think, speaks to the quality of the episode. At the same time, it being a tie to Midnight wasn't a detriment to the episode either. And I would be lying if I said, even though I knew going in that this was probably going to be a sequel to Midnight because I'd seen the leaks and stuff, I like that even knowing that didn't spoil it for me, I still got very excited and giddy when they started mentioning that the planet used to be like covered in diamonds. And I was like, oh, it's happening! It's the thing! It is Midnight!
It's the thing that they said that they would do. Like, how much better would that reveal have been if no one had leaked it?
I know, right? But also, because me and Phil were watching it with our other partner, Miles, and he didn't know because he doesn't watch leaks and stuff. So it was also nice to see someone who did have a genuine reaction.
Yeah, and then you sort of like get the react through them that you kind of actually get to be like, oh yeah, that is a really fucking well done moment.
Yeah, like it said it's midnight, or she said like it was called Midnight, and then it showed David Tennant's face, and Miles was like, wait, what? It's midnight! Ah! He was really excited because he loves that episode.
Oh, fabulous. Fabulous taste, that man.
Yes, I also really like watching some of the Doctor Who React channels who have gone into it without any spoilers. It's been kind of nice seeing their reactions to it as well. Because I do think the reveal was really well done.
Yeah. But I think, yeah, in terms of, had it been that reveal for everyone, like, I think the build up to that is great because then you're thinking of those things and then you're like, wait, who had a diamond planet? And then you remember Midnight and you're like, oh my God, it can't be. And you remember, like, oh, that creature probably did survive. And it's like, it's amazing. It's great. I just wish, much like the Master in Series 10, that it had just been kept away from us for a little bit longer.
That's one of the biggest issues with the show at the minute. It's just how many people are spoiling stuff online. And I know you can just say, oh, well, just don't look at the spoilers. I try. I'm terrible. I'm like, but I want to know what's going on.
Yeah, I'm equally curious. And it's like, I don't want to spoil it. Oh, but I must. Like, I'm in two minds always. It's like that about movies. When they come out, I'm like, tell me if there's any post-credit scenes for this movie or tell me how it ends so I know what to expect. But mainly for movies, it's like, so if I know the plot, I can work out when I can go to the toilet. Because I'm just getting old, honestly. But yeah, I think if I was going to do like a top 5 episodes of the RTD2 era at the moment, it would be like Boom, Wild Blue Yonder, The Well, um,
Rogue.
Rogue. Yes, thank you. And I'd say Lux. I'd say we've had.
I'm pretty sure that is exactly my top 5 as well.
See, look at that. Great minds think alike. And with this trajectory, like, because Lux was so good, but then we knew that this episode was coming, and it was like, does this overshadow Lux a bit? And it sort of does, but like, does the trajectory carry on? Like, hopefully,
This
like episode
was
4 can kind of build on this, and we can be. This could go down as one of the better seasons of Doctor Who ever.
Yeah. This episode was the first time since Wild Blue Yonder, but possibly since Moffat left, that I finished the episode and I was like, oh my fucking god, that was incredible. I need to rewatch it immediately.
Yes, it's one of the few times, especially the last couple of years, where I've immediately watched Unleashed after the episode ended.
I genuinely, after finishing The Well for the first time, I genuinely needed about a 3-hour time period just to process what I'd just watched, because I thought it was that good.
Wow. I mean, that is high praise indeed, to be fair.
I wish Russell did creepy Doctor Who more, because when he commits to it, he's really quite good at it.
He really is. And when it's not like I'm just going to do what I want because I'm the guy, and maybe this show lives and dies with me. Like when he's just like, right, what story do I have knocking around? But also like, was the story mostly what was the other writer's name? Was it mostly her thing, and he's just added the other stuff in, or they like collaborated on it a lot more than we think? Because we might be giving Russell credit for something that he's just added the other elements in.
What was I going to say? I can't remember now. Oh, no, I was going to say, no, I just don't think it's a coincidence that my 2 favourite episodes that Russell himself has written for the current era are both probably his, like, sci-fi horror ones, like Wild Blue Yonder and this.
Yes.
And I think when he really tries, he's really good at it. I just think he has a disposition for going quite silly a lot of the time, and I'm not always here for that.
Yeah, do you think it's maybe just sort of trying to Disneyfy it and make it more that the general audience will watch it instead of who you should make Doctor Who for? Is like you should either make it for the fans that already watch it, or you're trying to make it something different to bring new fans on board. You can't kind of do both, which I think a lot of this era so far has been like, I want the payoff and good stuff for the fans that have stuck around for a long time, but I need more people to generally watch it because I need to still have a job and have this come back next year.
I think he just needs to do it for the fans, because like the fandom is so divisive and toxic at the moment. Like, we still have so many people every single time a new episode comes out ranting and going, oh, the Doctor shouldn't be black, why do we have a black companion, why do we need representation? I literally saw a thumbnail for a review of the episode, and I haven't seen this channel in a while. I mean, I never watched it, but I know the channel exists. And I'm pretty sure he's well known for basically just hate watching Doctor Who at this point. But, like, part of his thumbnail was a picture of Alice, and it basically said, yes, I'm deaf, but it's important that it's important that I'm deaf, and if you think this is silly, then you're just being ableist or something like that. I'm like, fuck off. What is your problem with, what is people's problem with representation?
People just want something to hate, and they hate stuff that isn't how they used to remember it, even though Doctor Who's second ever story was an enemy that was an allegory of the Nazis.
Yeah.
So, like, if you think politics has never been in Doctor Who, you clearly haven't really existed long, or you've existed too long and you've forgotten what the fuck happened in the past.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't, because Doctor, like, it's not even about Doctor Who being woke. It's about Doctor Who just fucking being a sci-fi show, because sci-fi genuinely is the best place where you can explore the morals of stuff that exists now.
Yeah, look at Star Trek. It's been doing that since the 60s, 70s.
Yeah, racism, fascism, communism, all kinds of isms.
Literally, the first, the first iteration of Star Trek had, like, I think the first multiracial couple in a show.
Yeah, the first ever on-screen multiracial kiss, wasn't it, with Kirk?
Yeah, Kirk and
I was like,
Uhura.
oh fucking hell! Like, oh, that's Imagine if Twitter existed back then. They'd have all fucking. They'd have been terrified because we brought technology to the past. But I
Yeah,
just
this
don't get. Yeah, I
I
try and
kind of
ignore the noise. Sorry, Andy. I just
no
try and
no go on.
ignore. I try and ignore that fucking white noise drivel of people like, oh well, they're doing this again. And like with Shooty crying, it's like it's the same shit every week. Can we not just watch it, have our own opinions on it, and just get on with our lives? Why has it got to become the fucking faceless, voidless vacuum like Twitter is, and just be like, oh well, this is bad, and it's if you like it, you're wrong, and here's why, you asshole. It's not about that. It's just about a show. It's a show about fucking everyone, not fucking everyone, as in like everyone in general. Like
Yeah,
everyone should be seen and be able to see themselves in this show in some capacity.
it's fucking ridiculous. But
It
going back
is.
to more positive stuff, just with the episode,
Yay!
I kind of mentioned with the mirrors, but what another thing that I really appreciated is that everything in this episode seems to have good setup, good payoff. Like the whole thing with Shire being a really good shot came back and was important, not once but twice. The whole thing with the mirrors was set up way early on and then came back near the end. Yeah, it was there was so much good setup that led to good payoff, and that was really nice to have.
Yes, yeah, I like. Yeah,
And,
completely.
whilst
You're getting the actual good points in after our
and,
long rants about teats.
whilst at no point did I actually think Belinda was going to die from that gunshot, it was still good. Although I will say, right, just random thought that I noticed someone else mentioned on Twitter. What is it with this era and having episode 3 be the episode where the companion gets shot?
Maybe it's like an initiation thing. Like, you're not my companion until you've had a mortal fucking wound.
The first episode is, or your first adventure is cool, whimsical, god of mystery causing mischief and chaos in a historical setting. Your second episode is gritty sci-fi episode where you're going to get shot.
Yes. And you possibly will or won't die depending on the technology around at the time. And we will be in a funky kind of quarry looking place. But don't read too much into that. That's just tax.
What did you think of the end and like the ambiguity of it?
I think those are the best kind of Doctor episodes where it leaves you in a place of, I mean, did we win? Like, did the doc? I mean, the Doctor and Belinda got away, and that's generally the only real positive you can take from it.
Yeah,
Because people survived, but we don't know how long for. We know that there was a life form in that escape pod with the other three.
and we
Whether
also,
it split,
it's very very possible that there's another one now on Mo.
yeah, and like you
Which,
think that like there was there was one in the there was one in the pod. There was one on Captain Teats when she threw herself down the well. Like, is that lend credence to the splitting and divide and conquer by generation? We're going to copy two people on a starship
I
while
wonder.
Blue Yonder kind of thing.
I wonder if the moment they reflected the creature back at itself to get it off of Alice, quote unquote, that's when it made another one.
Maybe.
Because that's the thought I did have.
Yeah, that's as good a theory as any, really. Yeah, and I like that it's like, and the Mrs. Flood thing aside, it's just like the legend of that story will kind of like go on.
Yeah.
Like, there's what's the thing that they're fucking doing interesting that's targeting interesting creatures, and the midnight creature clearly is very interesting. So maybe that's like next on the list kind of thing. Where have I seen that? Unless I dreamt that in a psychosis.
I can't remember.
But yeah, it was sometimes Doctor like Midnight. Like Midnight ends is like, oh, I'm glad the Doctor's alive, but that was a horrible 45 minutes.
Yeah, and like it was genuinely not one. It was genuinely creepy, and like that first jump scare got me. like I mean, part of that was down to the music because it was just loud all of a sudden. But like that first jump scare got me. The whole episode was just creepy and like dripping with atmosphere. And yeah, kind of like you just said, did we win? I don't think we did.
And I'd be interested to see if, like, we get sort of more of these. Like, not, I don't want, oh, it's the Midnight Creature again. Like, but more of that, like you say, like the kind of old school, like, like more horrible, tense, villain stories. Like, whether you're gonna have a sort of thing of like, I mean, the villain, like with was it series 12 when most of the villains like kept getting away? Like, are you gonna have a sort of thing of like, well, the villains, the Doctor's not actively defeating the villains. Like, are
Yeah.
they sort of bit out there still and could be used by a powerful celestial being that can break the fourth wall and looks like Anita Dobson? But yeah, I really enjoy it. I'd say it's a solid for me. It's a solid like 9 out of 10. Like I really did love it.
I genuinely think I would give it a 10. I think it's the first time since I can't even remember when where I'd give an episode a 10, but I genuinely cannot think of anything that I can fault in this episode.
The only thing for me is like I mean, it's not that it was a bad thing, but like the link could have been there, it could have not have been there. It didn't make or break it for me. It was nice. I mean, it's an excuse to have David Tennant's face on telly on a Saturday night, so that's all right by me.
In a weird way, like I said earlier, the fact that the link could have been there or could not have been there and it wouldn't change anything, weirdly made the episode better for me because it really did feel like Russell wasn't leaning on the idea that this is a Midnight sequel to make this episode enjoyable. It really did feel like he had an incredible concept, but then also went, actually, this would kind of tie in well here. And yeah, the fact that it could work with or without it, yeah, in a weird way kind of elevates it for me because, like I said, it really does feel like this episode was so good that even being now a sequel of one of the most well-rated episodes ever, it still stands on its own without that.
Yeah, it definitely does. And it would be interesting to see if we do get more stories like this, whether it be this season or a potential next season, whether this is going to sort of, play into the spin-off, because I know that you haven't got the capability to travel off of Earth and go through time and space, but are we going to get this kind of more style tone of story in terms of like a more classic? This was the first sort of episode of Doctor Who that could have been like you get those odd episodes from any Doctor, and like if any Doctor could be in it, it feels like the most sort of classic of Doctor Who episodes. Like Mummy on the Orient Express, any Doctor could be in that, and it would still feel exactly the same kind of thing. I feel like you put this episode in any series, it works just as well anywhere, I think, and I think some of the best Doctor Who stories can do that.
Yeah, I agree.
So yeah, I'd say it's not completely perfect. It's very bloody close, and it's definitely in my top 5 of Shooty Gatwa Doctor Who episodes, obviously, and RTD2 in general. Do you think this one will be looked on like sort of, because I know Stephen Moffat did make a post of like Blink's time maybe over, because this one's you're in for a hell of a treat kind of thing? Do you think it would be as revered as one of the best modern Who stories, or like a shout for one of the best Doctor Who stories, like to be in the list? Like if you've got to watch an episode of Doctor Who,
I think it's
is
too
the
early
well going to be one of
I
those?
think it's too early to tell, but what I will say is that it absolutely is for me. Like, this is an episode that I have now watched twice. Technically more if you count all the reactions I've watched of it, and I am excited to go and watch it again. Like, I cannot describe the last time an episode of Doctor Who had me this obsessed. Like, even Boom, which I loved, I thought Boom was incredible, even that didn't leave me feeling like this afterwards.
So yeah, it would be a time will tell situation, but it could be this may be one of the ones that if this does if there is a hiatus, at least we did get to this. At least we got one of these episodes out of it.
I'm looking forward to seeing how the rest of the series does as well. I'm a bit apprehensive about the next episode, just because I'm like, it feels like quite a departure. But
Yeah, because then it's back to another bloody Doctor Light episode. So 3 Doctor Light episodes for Shooty in 2 series, and yeah, it's Ruby's in it. There's a podcast. There's some unit.
I have heard something. This wasn't in the leaks from just before the series came out. This has been like a rumor for a while, but I did hear, or I did see a rumor, like what I think it was autumn last year. It was a while ago. I remember reading something about how Ruby was going to have a boyfriend and how he might not be a good person.
Yay! Toxic masculinity, and that's what Doctor Who's all about.
Yeah, I saw a thing that he's apparently potentially going to be a bit of a villain.
Oh, I mean, we'll see how Ruby deals with that, and it's a shame that we're probably going to get very minimal Doctor and Belinda in it.
I know. I just want more Doctor and Belinda. It's one of the issues that I had with last year's season, and I think it's going to persist in this one, unfortunately, is when your season is so short, it feels like you can't really afford to have so many episodes where we don't focus on the core characters. But, yeah.
Here we are.
I'm looking forward to seeing Ruby again. But
yeah.
It does... After how disappointed I was with the end of her story, not that that's Ruby's fault, I am a little bit just kind of like, can we not just stay with Belinda?
Yeah. Can we just be here? Can we just be with these guys? But yeah, I've loved the upward trajectory that we seem to be going on with this season. I hope it can maintain and continue to elevate. Would be nice. And we'll see where we end up. Obviously, you are back on in a few weeks for the Interstellar Song Contest.
Which is an episode that I doubt is going to be as good as this, but I'm sure I will enjoy it just because it's Doctor Who does Eurovision.
And Rylan Clark is in it. So if that's going to piss off a whole different sector. Oh God, I wanted Graham Norton. I know he's in it, but I wanted Graham Norton to complete the trifecta of interrupting stuff in Doctor Who. Because obviously you had the radio signal thing that was like the broadcast stuff on the original broadcast of Rose. You had Graham Norton stuff like audio interrupt it, and that was written into the Target novelization as well. That it was like radio interference from the Autons, and then you had
that's really funny.
It's so good. I love that. That's one of my favorite Target novelizations. I love that. And obviously the little cartoon version of him popping up in Time of Angels, cliffhanger.
Yeah.
And like, I just wish we'd have got to like an interstellar fucking Madame Two Swords, and just as the Doctor's delivering the important exposition, the Graham Norton one comes to life and just like jumps in front of the camera and just interrupts him. But a interstellar Eurovision Terry Wogan in a much more outfitted regalia is just as good, and we'll have to wait and see how that one goes. But at least we have you back on.
How funny would it be if he actually did introduce it? What if there's like we're in the middle of a scene with the Doctor and Belinda, and it just cuts to Graham Norton?
I would love that.
What if they actually did do it?
Full circle, yeah. That's just what I want from life. If I can't get my weird Auton Madame Two Swords Graham Norton, I will take obnoxious space Graham Norton any day.
If I can't fish out these old teats, I'd at least like interrupting Graham Norton.
Yes, and with that, that's really full circle. And I know we've got you back on later in the run. But is there anything, my dear, that you would like to plug apart from those old teats that you are carrying?
Oh, darling, only you get to see those old teats. They're reserved just for you.
I'm impressed that you've held them the entire time we've been recording. You've not even put them down.
No, darling, they sit on the floor. They just hang that low. What was I going to say? No, just closing thoughts, because I'm aware that this episode has kind of been bouncing all over because I'm a very scatterbrained person, if you couldn't tell. It's my ADHD very obvious. I loved this episode so much. It left me excited for Doctor Who in a way that an episode hasn't for a long time. Not that other episodes this era haven't done it. I had it with Wild Blue Yonder, I had it with Boom. And to be fair, I think I've gone on record as saying before, the middle 6 episodes of last series were all genuinely good. It was just the first and last one that let it down.
Yes.
But, yeah, this episode left me so excited. Like I said, I needed time to process it afterwards. I thought it was that good. So, yeah, I'm looking forward to the rest of the series. This episode, honestly, I think is a perfect 10 for me. I know that might be highballing it. That might be, recency bias. I don't care. I think I'm going to rewatch this episode for years to come and still feel the same. There we go. That's how this episode left me feeling the same way that Village of the Angels did when that was done. Because I remember finishing that episode back in Jodie's era and thinking, holy shit, that was great.
And then nothing happened.
And then nothing happened, yeah. Flux was a very weird series.
What a weird time. But at least we had a good, fun time talking about the Jodie Whittaker era for like 7 hours.
We did. But yeah, this episode was phenomenal. Genuinely can't think of any fault that I would have with it. Even if it wasn't a midnight sequel, it would still be phenomenal in my opinion. This series is on a great trajectory and I hope it keeps it going, and I'm excited to be back in a few weeks to vent. I would say share more of my opinions, but let's be real, it's just going to be me venting more absolute shit on your own podcast.
That's all we want you on for, Andy, and we get to do it all. We get two of you in one series, and that's never a bad thing. It's just a shame we haven't got a Christmas special written by Stephen Moffat on the horizon yet, but hopefully that will come. What would you, as always, what would you like to plug to the dear listener?
So you can listen to, I would say, my dulcet tones. You can listen to my hyperactive tones on We Pay For Your Floor, which is a podcast that I do with my partner Phil and one of our best friends Sarah. We recorded some episodes at Sarah's place last weekend. They will be going out in a couple of weeks. We're going to start going bi-weekly just to make it easier on Phil to edit. So it will be every other Tuesday. Because did I ever tell you the law for why we upload We Pay For Your Floor on a Tuesday?
Because nothing good happens on a Tuesday.
There
until
we go.
Now.
Yes, exactly that. So yeah, every other Tuesday around 7 p.m. We Pay For Your Floor will go up. And we had a lot of fun, as we always do, recording the most recent episodes, so I'm looking forward to those coming out. You can also find me on Twitch. I have been consistently Twitch streaming again since January, February. So yes, please do come and watch me stream if you are interested in video games at all. We are currently streaming a playthrough of Baldur's Gate 3. And I'm also playing a lot of Overwatch at the moment because the new season has been really great. So yeah, come and catch me streaming on Twitch. We have a laugh. We have a whole thing of my stream being a cult, which Miles started and is now stuck. So yeah, come join the Void Cult, as it's called. Yeah, I can't think of anything else really. You can find me on different socials. I'm on Twitter, I'm on Instagram. Not that I really post that often on any of them, but you can find me there. Yeah. And you can
find him right here in a couple of weeks.
I was about to say the same thing. You can catch me here talking to my dear darling George in a couple of weeks. I hope I hope the love of your life and the mother of your children is aware that I am the true man of your life.
Of course, there is no one. There is no one I would rather talk to on a sweltering Monday afternoon / evening. And it's just thanks for coming on as always, Andy. Because like I know I say it to everyone, but it genuinely is a pleasure to just sit back. Sometimes talk about Doctor Who, mostly talk about other things that, in the grand scheme of the universe, mean fuck all. But it's always fun. It really does brighten the week.
I will endeavour to have more random bullshit that I can bring to you in a few weeks.
And
I'm sure I will have a new vocal stim by then because they seem to be a weekly occurrence.
good, and we can have more on Helen Mirren's teats next week. Next
We
week
can
and 2
fish
weeks
out
time.
those old teats in a few weeks, darling.
Yeah.
Indeed.
Refish out those. Let's just keep refishing the teats. Refish those teats treats. Treaty teats. I don't know. The breast is yet to come. There we go.
There we go.
And as always, it's a pleasure. Thank you, Andy. You are one. It's like the old Bruce Forsyth. You're my favourite. You are. So thanks for coming. We'll
Aww.
do this all again in a couple of weeks, and maybe we'll talk about Doctor Who at some point. Who knows?
I'm sure we'll at least talk about it a little bit.
We should do. And the best thing is I don't have to do an outro because Connor's going to do that tomorrow. I mean, he already has.
What did I mean, obviously you don't have to keep this in the episode, but overall, what did Connor think of the episode?
He said it was really good in the group, and then I'll find out tomorrow what he said, which I'm looking forward to because he's been one of those ones that's sort of like been like he was not excited, but he was like, oh yeah, another season, it'd be good. I liked like I think the first and last episode let him down. Other than that, he generally enjoyed it. But as the weeks have gone on, every time I see him and speak to him, he's like, yeah, really fucking actually watching Doctor Who again, which is weird for him. Like, as in that coming out of his mouth. He's like, because he went through a lot in terms of he missed a lot of the Matt Smith era when it went out, I think. But yeah, I've made him watch stuff, which I think he kind of has begrudgingly done, especially for like Flux and stuff. But with this, like every week he's like, yeah, man, I'm really just, I'm liking where it's going. I'm hoping that it doesn't fuck me up like Empire of Death, but I'm enjoying it. So we'll see.
I forgot the thing. I have two of the things I was going to mention. I forgot.
Do it. I'll put it back in. Go.
Right. You might want to put this in when we discuss looks. I can't remember. But, two things that I noticed when it comes to the gods of the Pantheon, and I kind of mentioned one of them to you on Instagram, I think. The spoon.
Yes, the spoon. Was there...
Every single appearance of the Pantheon, at least in a Shooty episode, has involved a weirdly, central spoon. Like, in Devil's Cord, it had Maestro's reflection. In Empire of Death, there was the whole scene where Sian Clifford's character, who was wasted, because Sian Clifford's a great actor, and my God, she was wasted in that episode. She gave him the spoon so that he could use it to, do something to the TARDIS. And then in Lux, it was a spoon that reflected the moonlight that put Lux inside of the projector to become Mr. Ring-a-Ding. Why is it spoons?
Why is it spoons?
It's a weird
Are they
thing.
still Rest McCoy's spoons?
I hope so. I would love to see him back.
Or
I'm
it's the spoons from what's it called? Bloody Tommy Wiseau, The Room.
The yeah, I'm trying not to get my hopes up that something's going to come of it, because last year was literally just Ruby was named after our street sign. Woo. But it is an interesting thing that I've noticed. And then the other thing that I've noticed that I think Phil also mentioned to me. Have you realised what each of the gods of the Pantheon so far have had in common in terms of how they were defeated?
No.
They were all defeated by the very thing they're the god of.
Oh.
The toy maker was defeated by them beating him at his own game. Maestro was defeated by them finding the correct chord. Obviously, they are the god of music, so they used music to defeat them. Sutek was defeated by bringing death to death, which is still something I'm like, but it holds up the theory. And then Lux was defeated. He is the god of light, and they drowned him in light.
I am everything, and I am nothing. Technically, Sutek was killed by walkies.
Of course, that's what... You know what? All they needed to do for Sutek was give him a muzzle and a dog bag.
I mean...
Maybe that was it. Maybe we needed Tracy Ullman as Judi Dench flinging his dog shit up into a tree.
Maybe we did. But also, technically, the Doctor Who official YouTube channel could have made a lot of views by just having a clip of that when he defeats Sutek and just titled it "The Doctor Goes Dogging."
There's a song that I need playing over this scene now. I will send it you as soon as we've done recording. I'll send you this song because it would go perfect over it.
Over the Doctor dogging or the walkies?
Over the walkies, but obviously the title is The Doctor Goes Dogging.
I mean, we could make that the official Doctor Who podcast. Did the Doctor go dogging this week? Well, I wouldn't go dogging on Planet Midnight, would you, dear?
Oh, thank you for having me on, George. As always,
Thank-
it is an utter delight.
It's always just a delight to talk to you, Andy. And the best thing is, as long as Doctor Who doesn't get cancelled, we can just keep doing this.
I mean, if Doctor Who does get cancelled, I think we're just going to make our own podcast, so it's us just talking bollocks.
Yeah, we'll make the Adventures of Astrid and everyone that's fallen down a well or reactor or
Yeah, the
Minecraft.
spin-off, yeah. We'll call it Doctor Who Falling Heroes instead of Fallen Heroes.
Yes, I like that. I like that a
Who
lot.
who else would clarify? Who else has fallen? Victorian Clara could.
Say his name and he appears. I believe in Joe Hendry. I believe in Joe Hendry. Na 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 na.
It's Andy Kemp. Da, 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 da.
Tokyo.
What do you?
I
Well.
believe in Joe Hendry.
I believe in Andy Kemp. You're obsessed with that. For fuck's sake.
He's British, isn't he?
Yes.
Yeah,
He's Scottish.
Is he Scottish?
Yeah, he's Scottish. Yeah. That's why he wears those colours. But he didn't look like that all the time.
Have you heard the John Cena prank call?
No.
I wonder if it's still on here.
This week's phone scam. Check it out.
Show me it in a minute. My belly is really awkward at the moment.
This week's
alright.
phone scam.
It's this week's phone scam. I think
Well, that was lovely.
that was rather lush.
Lush. Luxish. Yeah, I don't know if I'd said my rating. I'd give it a 9 out of 10.
I'd give it a 7 at the minute, but then, subject to change. Card subject to change. I think,
enough.
maybe.
But what did you think of it at home? And are you excited for Lucky Day? The Lucky Day? The
Brave New Day.
Millie Gibson is...
Hooray!
Hooray. Millie Gibson is hooray on a podcast.
Millie Gibson is hooray.
She's literally on a podcast with her boyfriend, who might be an undercover villain thing. I've seen that.
Oh.
Possibly. We'll find out next week, though. Where can they find us before then?
Sucked into the time vortex. Or eaten by the flux. nerdbiblecontact@gmail.com. Andy Kemp's links will be at the end of the video. Rate, comment,
Andy Kemp will be
subscribe,
trapped at the end of the video for all
He'll be trapped
eternity.
For all eternity. Like, share the love, and share your thoughts on Doctor Who Season 2. And where do you think it's going to end up? And most importantly, who is the boss?
And are you going to the cinema to see the double bill?
Yes.
We can do that
I did
again.
review. Yeah, big time.
Got it.
I'm not going to go on my own for that.
But are you
Don't be
going
underwhelmed.
to avoid part 1 again?
Second time's the charm.
Dun
Yeah.
dun blah, 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 blah.
Yeah, I'll try my best to do that.
We'll find out next time. Farewell.